Bradley Cooper and Maestro here on Netflix, December 20th, 2023. He wrote this script, he directed it, he stars in it. It's a really great acting performance, and I really like Carey Mulligan in this too as the wife of Leonard Bernstein. Of course, this is a Leonard Bernstein biopic. But really, is it a biopic? No, it's more like two different parts of his life, and it's a reduced part of his life. I would call this the love story of Leonard Bernstein and his life, Felicia Montealegre, who he was married to for almost 30 years. She died of breast cancer in 1978, but yet Leonard Bernstein was what? Was he bisexual? Was he homosexual secretly and then doing this monogamous relationship in public? I don't even know, but what's this movie about? It's about his love story with his wife, and that's really mostly it. There are different topics and different parts of his life that come up in this movie, but not much about his composing, not much, a little bit more about his conducting, not much about his celebrity hobnobbing, nothing about his political interests. The movie basically takes the 1940s up to about, I think, early 1950s. It's black and white, 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's shown as a delightfully peppy time for the always smiling Bernstein. And then about 40 minutes in the movie, we go into the 1970s, the early to mid to late 1970s, and that's colorized also in a 4:3 aspect ratio. Although notice when at the beginning and end of the movie we have a widescreen aspect ratio. Director Cooper he's trying to do something with ratios, although I'm not really sure what or why he's doing it. There's several thematic considerations, and one is pretty obvious, I think, is this public and private self connection. The private self, it opens up into the public life and these connections between the celebrity that Bernstein becomes and maybe pretty much any celebrity, including Cooper himself. In the opening shot, for example, we see him playing the piano privately, only for the camera to go around the door, and over the piano we see a big camera crew behind the piano. There are a great number of shots like that where we begin in a private bedroom, a private place, and then the characters go out, sometimes fantastically, as in like a magical realism, and they go out onto a public stage, either in a music hall that's empty or a music hall that's full, and then we have some at least one fantastical dance number in this. And so then the idea is brought up that who is this man? His public and private self are connected, but he's got secret male lovers, and his wife learns about that. She's jealous about that later in the movie. Throughout his life, he has male lovers, including before his marriage, including after she dies. And so then they have this question, who is this man? I guess sexually, that is pretty much, the main way I watch this movie. And there's not a lot else, not all of these other aspects of his social and political and religious aspects in this movie at all. Thereby, I would call this movie a love story with some music involved, but really, I think the good kernel core of this movie, and what it probably should have been, was a showbiz movie. Cooper is great. There's a dance number in the early part of this movie. There's a fantastic performance at a cathedral later in this movie that he gives like 5 minutes to, and it's the musical numbers to me that really shine here, but there aren't very many of them. And so I kind of wish this was more of Bernstein's musical number hit scene over the course of his career, rather than what this movie is, which I think anybody who knows Bernstein's biography, either a very tiny bit of it or a lot of it, will bring that baggage to this movie and go, well, why doesn't this movie consider this, and this aspect of him? I think the biography is going to be big baggage for a lot of viewers and actually turn a lot of people off because they're going to question this movie. That means I think the movie's flawed. A deep flaw is it picked a real-world, big-time persona as its object of study and focus, Bernstein, rather than doing a fictional composer, like a fictional famous composer, something like the movie Tar from last year, which is a fantastic movie. I think it should have done that here with the mid-20th century, picking a Bernstein-like fictional character and then working with this material. I think most of us wouldn't then be asking these questions about biography and noticing the loose and disorganized structure of this movie as much. So therefore, to me, about half of this movie is really good. The crisp black and white cinematography, some of the camera dynamics are fantastic. I think the performances are often very good, at least for some of the movie. And, Cooper's going to get an Oscar nomination, likely, maybe Mulligan will too. But my wild guess is a lot of people will watch this movie and go, what's going on in this movie? What's it about? Why does it leap 20 years forward? Why is it so heavy on sad sack elements and not peppy musical numbers? Where is West Side Story at? There's a number of people going to ask that question. It's in the soundtrack, but not featured at all in the movie. So I think the movie does itself a bit of a disservice that way. All in all, I would welcome Cooper definitely to direct more movies. I think he's got a great eye, great cinematography, and so on. But I think he's got a great movie in him to come, maybe several great movies. I don't think this is the one, so I'm giving it 2.5 stars. That's a signal to try it for some of you if you are interested in the material. But for some of you, don't try it, don't bother with it unless you hear the buzz and you think it's great. But, I didn't love this movie at all. I think it has some deep script flaws. So what do you think of Maestro? Let us know in the comments. And please subscribe to this channel for more great content. Thank you. Have a great day.